In this video, I'm going to introduce you to components. Now, you've already learned about polygon primitives, and so for this example, I'm going to grab one. So I'm going to come up here to the shelf and select the cube. You've already learned how to move and adjust your camera, so we can work with this a little bit. And I showed you one manipulator tool, which was the W key, which allows you to move things. So for right now, I'm just going to leave it here at the origin. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change from object mode to component mode. If you'll notice right now, this object is colored green. So these lines on it are green. Now, color is very important in Maya because it gives you information about what's going on. So when I switch to component mode, everything's going to change to a different color to identify that I'm no longer in object mode, but I'm actually in component mode. To change to component mode, I hold down the right mouse key and I can select edge, vertex, or face. And so these are the three primary ones that we work with in component mode in the modeling process. Now, if you accidentally hold down the right mouse key away from the object, or when the object's unselected, excuse me, it will bring up a different interface. But if you hold it over the object, or if the object's selected in object mode, then you pull up the menu to select by component. So the components I can select between vertex, edge, and face. So I'll start by selecting the vertex. Now if you'll notice, it's turned blue. That shows that this is in component mode. While it's blue, these vertices are now a purple color. Now those show the individual points. So I can grab a vertice and move it around so you can see, but it is moving that individual point. I can go to edge mode, which, as their name implies, they are these edges. They are the lines between two vertices. I can get the same effect for movement by selecting both vertices, and that's the same as selecting an edge. So if I select an edge and move that, it has the same effect. I'll step back. By the way I'm stepping back is Control Z. I will talk about this many more times, but Control Z is undo, and it will become a very good friend of yours if you continue through the modeling process. So next I'm going to step to face. For face, I just go around. You see as I'm moving the mouse around and hovering over each face, it highlights with red to show that's what it is. And if I left click, then it selects it. And so I can move and adjust to face as well. Now, the face is something that can be difficult to get used to selecting because it's based on what you're looking at a given time. And so as objects and models become very complex, it can become difficult to find specific faces. So one thing I like to do, and I suggest to people starting out, is to turn on face handles. In order to do this, you need to go up to Windows, Settings, Preferences. So Windows, Settings, Preferences. And then here on the left side, if you go below Settings down to Selection, you can come down to Polygon Selection and select Center. Once you've done that, so once again under Selection, Polygon Selection, Center, you hit Save. And you'll see that now in the center of the faces is a blue handle. Now the way this becomes extra useful is if I do something like a marquee select. That's when I hold down the left mouse key and drag, and it creates this box that anything within that box gets selected. So I marquee selected all three of those faces. I can then drag and select these faces. I can also select multiple things at the same time by selecting one, holding down Shift to select another. But as you can see, I'm able to adjust multiple things at the same time. So that's component mode. So vertex, edge, and face. So explore switching between object mode, which shows up as green, and component mode, once again by holding down the right mouse key and selecting either vertex, edge, or face to try moving things around.